Sorry, I'm done with a lot of these Manchester United players. Not from these games and the Ruben Amorim, but it has been building for a while and nothing has changed under Amorim. I don't think there's a team in world football better at wasting money than us in the transfer market. But INEOS, with all the ruthless approaches to staff and cuts in every other department, I think we need to see a statement in January. Because boy, Manchester United are shit. Again, we didn't learn anything new from Manchester United in that game against Wolves. It was a continuation of what we've already seen, but it feels like I've reached a point, I can only explain my own opinion, where I'm kind of checked out with quite a few more of these players than I thought I would be checked out with. That this squad isn't as good as I hoped it could be. Maybe that was a foolish optimism. I don't know. I'm going to run through what we learned against Wolves, and you can let me know what you think in the comments. But I'm pretty sure I know what the comments are going to be like on this video, because number one on this list is these players are simply not good enough. Now, you can look at the results that we've had in the last 3 games and focus on those if you really want to. Or you can increase the amount of games you're looking at so the evidence is over a longer period of time with greater context. And it's just the same answers everywhere. Whether it was last December where we lost 5 games, and then we had a summer, and then this December where we've lost 5 games and we've still got Newcastle left. I'm not looking at any individuals. I'm genuinely looking at a complete collective. How many of these players are going to be here in a couple of years? You wouldn't put money, your own hard-earned cash, on a bet with many of these United players to be here in a couple of years' time. Honestly, very, very few of these players. And whether it's individual mistakes or just overall team weaknesses, it's just how we've spent 600 mil on the Ten Hag, and the squad is as mentally fragile, as physically limited, as weak as it looks, and it is under Ruben Amorim. There's only so far that he'll be able to go with this squad, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Well, maybe I thought it would be this bad, but I didn't think I'd lose faith in the players of just genuine ability. I don't think they're not trying. I just don't think they're good enough. And that's where my acceptance has started to creep in. Now, number 2 on my list, I want to speak about United's players in-game environments. We are way too emotional as a team, and I would say it's a massive Achilles heel. Look, Wolves going into that game yesterday, it wasn't hard. Okay, they weren't breaking down United. Don't worry, lads, we'll get corners. And as soon as we get corners, we'll work on this. Just go on the goalkeeper. No one's going to do anything. They're not going to push you off the ball. See what the ref says. Might let you go. They did. Great. That's how easy it was to play against us. And Cunha was absolutely bullying the team across the pitch. Just the definition of all the things, or not the definition, but the example of all the things that this squad is missing. And when I speak about Manchester United being too emotional in a game, I can't not speak about Bruno Fernandes. He is the captain. In the same way that football players will be representative of the club environment. Players are products of their environment. Teams are products of their manager's identity and what they want, what the manager wants them, or head coach wants them to play as. Teams will also be reflective, I think, of a captain, because the captain is the example that you look towards, the leader, the place for you turn to for advice in adverse situations. Bruno and his emotional approach to football is his strength when it's his strength, but when it's his weakness, and it's been his weakness more often than it has been a strength for quite a while now, and it's a problem. And when I talk about United being too emotional, not just decision-making in a game, instead of it being according to what you worked on, what you trained on, what you prepared yourself for, you let the moment flip your head. The moment distracts you, and you lose focus on what you trained on, and all of a sudden you're making decisions on the fly, emotionally, and it's a big issue that teams keep taking advantage of. Number 3 on the list, right? Amorim's got to keep it going. I mean, you don't need me to tell you this. Amorim himself said it about the road ahead, and it is going to be long. The storm is already basically there. And you've got journalists who are trying to dig Amorim out, suggesting that, well, Vitor Pereira's come in and he's got 2 wins in a week. And he's like, yeah, well, this squad has been built towards that. Vitor Pereira played with the 3 at the back, of course, out in Saudi. The players suit it. My players don't. And United's players don't suit a 3 at the back. We never played a 3 at the back system. I felt some of their players would come across better than they have. But no way do I want to see Amorim compromise at any point. And I said to something like, look, he's had no time to train with the players. He's been playing every 3 games. Amorim has come into a mid-season situation where he doesn't have time. And time is the greatest commodity that any manager could want, really. It's all well and good, you as a United fan, if right now you're saying you're going to be backing Amorim, but in 4 or 5 months' time, if we're still staring at similar problems, the positions shouldn't switch for yourself. Well, I can't tell you how to be a United fan, but if we're going to actually ever see a rebuild through, we're going to have to deal with this for some time before this squad is capable, physically capable, of doing what Amorim needs it to do. And I'm going to go back to it again, but I want to speak about Bruno's rash red card, because I criticised Harry Maguire heavily as a United player, because I know that when you're the captain and you carry yourself wrong on the pitch, how can I possibly expect my other players to not at least be influenced by that decision? Because that's what a captain is. A captain is an influential person. It should be the most influential player in the team, who everybody looks towards for how do we act here? How do we react? Do we go? Do we stay? Do we stick? Bruno let himself down massively with just a really hot-headed decision. If he took himself out of that and was able to take himself out of that moment, I'm on a yellow card, let's not do this. But instead it was, let's get the ball back as quickly as possible. Let me go over there. Let me lunge in. And that was just after half-time, just after a team talk. That's where I think the criticisms of Bruno Fernandes ring true and are completely fair. His inability in a game environment to control his own emotions has unfortunately been picked on as a weakness by so many teams that it has become a fundamental weakness for him now. And I question whether at this age in his career, whether that's something that he develops or changes. All right, 0.5 on my list could easily be way higher up. We are blunt down that left-hand side, man. Right now, we're blunt everywhere. We are particularly blunt down that left-hand side. Playing Delo there, playing Malacia there, or playing Mazraoui there, whoever, we are not offering anything down that left-hand side. Will we be able to do anything in January? I don't know. If I look at Alvaro Fernandes, do I see a player who is guaranteed to be the solution and will be our wing-back for years? No. Do I see a player who Manchester United could bring back to the club for around about £15 million, improve our options immediately inside the squad? Yes. Do I think United should be? Absolutely. Now, I'm not saying that he'd be the best choice right now. Oh, it's going to start Alphonso Davies. Skint people. Start understanding that. Can't happen. It won't happen. Because he would. How much would his sign-on? I don't know how much his sign-on bonus would be. My point with Alvaro Fernandes is this. If it works out with him, then we've got a really cheap, top-quality player. But if it doesn't, we could sell Alvaro Fernandes in the summer, and then we could just move on to another target straight away. But in the short term, between January and the summer, we improve our options. Now, whether it's Fernandes, whether it's somebody else, we need to improve this squad in January, and that includes sales. But Ratcliffe, because of the mistake that Ashworth and Barada and all the United sporting staff made in keeping Ten Hag, it's forced a mid-season pre-season on Amorim. And in pre-season, you win some games. City away. Everton at home. And in pre-season, you lose some games. Well, just in any game. Who am I kidding? You're not going to... That's just the same whether it's pre-season or the normal season. My point here is that he's not getting any of these games. None of them are friendlies. They're all competitive. Straight into the deep end. And our next 3 games are Newcastle home, Liverpool away, and Arsenal away. These players have got to buck up their ideas, man. Because there's only so much Amorim will be able to do for a long time, really. So much has got to come from within them. I just don't know whether they've got any more to give. Honestly, I don't.